themselves cannot carry. And they tell them that if they don't meet the target of maybe carrying one job and make our people to look like they are modern day slaves, we cannot allow that to continue to happen. And we are admonishing the government to follow up on our investigation and make sure our people have what they need to have in the right frame of work as per what the Decent Work Act says. But you cannot have our people toting annual while you have machines to move these things. All God, you want to meet your target and you threatening them. That's not just all. We have people who they bring in as experts, but they are working to serve tea, and they are Indians. They are working to cook. All God, you want to meet your target and you threatening them. That's not just all. We have people who they bring in as experts, but they are working to serve tea, and they are Indians. They are working to cook in Indian food, and they are Indians. How can you bring somebody to cook from India and call them expert? And our labor ministry is issuing licenses to these people as work permit and giving them resident permit to stay here and work in those fields, and they don't even investigate what kind of work for which the man is an expert.
And let's bring you this development here on our news presentation. The United States Embassy in Monrovia has officially welcomed the signing of a landmark concession and access agreement between the U.S.-owned Avaho Atlantic and the government of Liberia, marking a major milestone in the country's development and international investment efforts. The agreement valued at an estimated $1.8 billion and seen as a critical move toward President Joseph Boakai's vision of establishing a multi-user rail infrastructure policy that benefits a range of stakeholders, both domestic and foreign. The estimated $1.8 billion deal is a crucial step towards President Boakai's objective of developing Liberia's multi-user rail policy and securing new international investment. A statement from the U.S. Embassy read. The embassy emphasized that growing U.S. investment in Africa serve to boost and share prosperity and are central to the ongoing shift in U.S.-Liberia relation from aid to trade. By increasing U.S. investment in Africa, the script said, we drive multi-prosperity and support Liberia's move from aid to trade, the statement added. The deal reflects growing confidence in Liberia's stability and economic direction under the Boakai administration and positions the country as a rising destination for responsible global investment. In a bid to boost decentralization, the Liberia Broadcasting System is set to establish a substation in Seclopia, Nimba County. The move is part of ongoing efforts to enhance media coverage and access to public broadcasting service in all regions of the country. LBS Director General Eugene Fagon over the weekend disclosed that the management has secured 1 acre of land in Seclopia to commence the project. He emphasized that the construction of the substation aligns with President Joseph Boakai's mandate to improve the presence and performance of the state broadcaster across Liberia's 15 political subdivisions. Fagon noted that a groundbreaking ceremony for the Seclopia substation is scheduled to take place next week, marking the official start of the project. He added that the LBS is in the process of acquiring land in Grand Cape Mount County for a similar development amid at further decentralizing LBS operation.
We were able to travel to Ganta, meet with some stakeholders there. From Ganta, we went on to Seclopia, where we've now, through negotiations, were able to acquire a piece of land, 1 acre of land, for the construction of a new substation in Seclopia for the people of Nimba that will cater to both television and radio.
Okay.
So by the time everything is concluded this week, by next weekend, we should be breaking grounds for the construction of a new substation in Seclopia. I want to thank the mayor of Seclopia and all of his councilmen who quickly were able to receive us, and you wouldn't believe we had a great time in Seclopia, and the people of Nimba will finally benefit from a brand new substation to be constructed from scratch to cater to television and radio.
Okay.
We then left Seclopia and traveled all the way to Tapita, where we were able to render assistance to our sister stations there and give some. As I speak to you, my team is getting ready right now. We will proceed to Kipmount, where similar activity is suspected to take place. This government is not playing. This government is not joking. If the people give us the 1 acre of land that we are asking for in Kipmount this week, plans will get on the way for the construction of a brand new substation in Kipmount County.
His LBS Director General Eugene Facon there speaking. In a related development, the LBS Director General has issued a 3-week ultimatum to the Voice of Bong radio station to vacate a property said to be owned by the state's broadcaster. The Voice of Bong is owned by Representative Marvin Coe of Bong County, Electoral District 3. Fagon disclosed that a team from LBS recently held discussions with the Voice of Bong management requesting them to leave the premises by July 30th, 2025. The LBS Director General stressed that the station is taking steps to reclaim and secure its facility and properties across the country. He maintained that the move is part of a broader division to ensure that the national broadcaster operates independently and form its own space, free from external occupants. Fagon reaffirmed his commitment to expanding LBS infrastructure and improving access to reliable state media in rural and urban areas, like mounting that developments in Nimba, Grand Kipman counties are at their preparatory stage.
I made an unannounced visit to Bong County, to our property, or if you like, our facilities, to include the transmitter site at the barracks and our main studio site in the heart of Banga. What prompted that is the fact that I've had a series of conversations with the Representative Honorable Marvin Coe concerning our facilities that he took over forcefully without our knowledge. And I used that word forcefully without our knowledge and operated it for a length of time. I'll be the first to admit that he did some work there in terms of renovation, but that does not negate the fact that he should not have been there in the first place. So we went over there, and last year I contacted him upon taking over. I said to him that we will use that facility shortly in keeping with the mandate of His Excellency President Joseph Numa Boakai to bring television and radio to almost every capital or provisional areas in Liberia, that is the counties. We were poised to execute that mandate. We started off by sending the Liberian Land Authority. They brought back the report and our deeds and everything. I received a couple of calls from Representative Coe that he had done some work there, and we had a meeting with them before my return. I made it quite clear to them again, but like I said, the Land Authority, told him he.
Hence, LBS Director General Eugene Fagon speaking via mobile phone. And now to this development, the United States Embassy near Monrovia has confirmed the official opening of the Liberia Trade and Investment Office in Philadelphia, USA, a move aimed at deepening economic ties between the two nations. The announcement comes as Liberian President Joseph Boakai visits the United States on a special invitation from President Donald Trump. The new trade office, according to Liberia's Trade and Investment Representative Ambassador Gula Gibson, will serve as a key resource hub connecting American and Liberian businesses in areas like agribusiness, energy, digital services, manufacturing, and tourism. Positioned in a historic commercial city of Philadelphia, the office aimed to provide support for joint venture regulatory guardians and access to strategic investment opportunities. A two-day business and trade conference is also taking place in Philadelphia, bringing together government leaders, diaspora entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 executives, and global investors. President Boakai is expected to deliver the keynote address outlining Liberia's vision for economic reform and job creation, particularly targeting youth empowerment through export-driven industries. The conference will also feature a section on Made in Liberia value chain financing tools from U.S., Exami and DFC, and public-private partnership in infrastructure and renewable energy. The event will wrap up with a signing of a memorandum of understanding with the Laborers International Union of North America and a special visit to the Philadelphia Regional Port Authority. A group of local money exchanger under the banner Liberia Mobile Money Agent has formed a petition Orange GSM and Lone Star Cell MTN over what they describe as unfair reduction in commission payment. Speaking in an exclusive interview with K News, the group's national chairman, Jeremiah Koluba, explained that mobile money agents now receive only 16.50% Liberian dollars instead of 60 Liberian dollars for processing a 1,200 Liberian dollars withdrawal, while smaller transactions earn better commission, putting many agents at a loss. He noted that small-scale businesses now bringing in more profit than mobile money services, making the sector less attractive and financially damaging to agents. He explained that such reduction commission, many agents are unable to cover basic operational costs, and as a result, some have already closed down. Koluba warned that if the current payment system remains in place, mobile money agents will soon disappear from communities across the country. The group emphasized that if no solution is reached, the group will take further action, including a possible nationwide shutdown of mobile money services, to demand better treatment.
There are a lot of issues that we took to Lone Star Cell. There are a lot of issues that we've been having, but today specifically, we were looking at the issue of the commission. Commission has been reduced drastically. Where we were getting $60, now we are getting just $16.50 labor day. When you withdraw 1,200, it is even telling you that the layman that is doing mini is more beneficiary to his business than the mobile money agent. Because if you do $50 mini, you get $20 profit. But if I am doing 1,200 transactions, I'm getting just $16.50 labor day. So it's how diminishing it has been. This means that if you eat 500 a day, you need 31 customers to come and withdraw 1,200 to be able to recover that 500. So a many guys that you see in the street, 1 month, 2 months from now, you will not be seeing them. So this is the issue under the Liberia Mobile Money Agent National Remittance Association, or in the 15th legal subdivision of this country, saw it necessary to write their position to bring to this GSM company. So we carried to Orange and we had 2 hours discussion with them. We were in a meeting and we expressed these things that they are doing to the agent and not correct, and actually assured us which we will be making follow up. They have assured us that in the next 3 months we should be making follow up. Today, when we carry our letter, we had a meeting where they asked for
Hines Sylvester, that's Jeremiah Koluba. They are speaking on behalf of a local money exchanger under the banner Liberia Mobile Money Agent, speaking to the 2 GSM companies to do the due diligence. And now to this development here. The Chief Executive Officer, Get Empowerment Foundation, has urged the government of Liberia to prioritize investment in education over state ceremony. Sylvester Brown noted that several students in rural areas are learning under poor conditions, with some sitting on logs in this dilapidated classroom, urging the government to mitigate the deplorable learning conditions in rural communities. Brown criticized the government's recent spending on symbolic funerals of former presidents, arguing that those resources should have been used to improve school infrastructure. Brown also expressed concern over the growing number of children selling in the street, noting that such a trend contradicts President Joseph Boakai's 2023 campaign commitment to addressing the situation. The Reverend Liberian Education warned that national reconciliation efforts will remain ineffective that if education continue to be undermined. He made this assertion over the weekend in Pinzi at the 4th graduation ceremony of Little Friend Academy.
Especially our President, the Honorable His Excellency Joseph Newman Buaka, who have in his arrest agenda education as one of the key pillars that this government will want to achieve. And how we think the government can do that is by devoting more time, by putting in the resources that the schools and school administrations need to ensure that the students are taught properly, the able environment is created. Today, as we speak, there are some schools in the rural areas where students are sitting on the floor. Some students are sitting on a leaking roof as it is raining today. But the government of Liberia is spending millions of dollars reburying our former presidents, which is not a bad thing, but I think that those resources, financial resources, needs to be directed to the educational system. You can have students sitting on the floor. You can have school buildings leaking and expect the children to learn something. The Minister of Education happens to be the chairperson on this reburial program of our two fallen presidents, President William Awatorwa and Sandra Kanyado. The amount of money that they're using or they have used of recent to bury those two ex-presidents would have been diverted to the educational system and have our students getting the proper education, the environment needed to be conducive instead of spending that money and resources on reburial. Reconciliation is very key. Reconciliation is very important. But let me tell you one thing. In the absence of education, reconciliation is useless. Because how can you tell somebody to go and reconcile if they don't know the meaning of reconciliation? And that is something we need to pay keen attention to. To the government again, you got wayward students, children. You got a disadvantaged youth out there that needs to be taken care of. The president promised us that he's going to ensure that all of the street-selling children are taken from the street. Today, we have the street sellers have increased than they were before. That is something we want to take keen attention, pay keen attention to, because the increase.
And now to this development, the Bishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Monrovia has cautioned religious organizations against abusing the duty-free privilege given by the government. Bishop Gabriel Jubui made known his observation that some religious organizations are misusing the duty-free privilege by importing non-sale merchandise but put a price tag on it for the ordinary people. However, Bishop Jubui failed to mention any particular religious organization abusing the duty-free opportunities. The Catholic clergy issued a warning at the end of a one-day deliberation that's organized by the Faith and Justice Network for religious leaders from the Mano River Union countries in Monrovia.
As faith-based organization, we too must lead by example. I was in the meeting with, we call them religious school administrators, that is the religious congregations working in our archdiocese, and schools run by these religious, not the one run by the local church or the archdiocese, so to say. I hinted some of the things that we said with regard to bringing in things and even facilities that are being constructed, that we must live by example to ensure nothing comes in that with intent to commercialize. We must make sure we fulfill our obligation by paying due to the government. Even though we have the duty-free privileges, we must not abuse this. There have been instances where containers will come and some people will try to squeeze in things that they will use not for the intended purpose as for the school or whatever. We want that to stop. We must live by example. We must clean our house before we look outside to clean other people's house. So we recommit ourselves to collaboration with the government entities directly responsible for ensuring that taxes that are as revenues are justly, fairly distributed to benefit.
For his part, Assistant Minister for Revenue and Tax Policy at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Andrew Golo welcomed the extolled the village leaders' contribution to the deliberation on tax payment in the MRAU region. Assistant Minister Golo noted that the religious community is better positioned to reach larger audience in the tax payment awareness campaign. Golo also urged citizens to pay taxes to capacitate the government in undertaking meaningful development in the country.
There is no perfect system, and because we don't have a perfect system, we welcome your campaign, we welcome your initiative. Inasmuch as our reforms or our tax system is geared towards building equity, wherever improvements are meant to be directed, your effort can help us in directing those necessary measures that will improve our tax system. But I say to you that our tax is progressive, it's not regressive. We don't have a flat rate of taxing people. If we have a flat rate of taxing people, we'll be taxing the poor and the rich the same, or the high income earners and the low income earners the same. But our tax system is structured in a way that we take more money from the high income earners and low money from the low income earners. The more money that we take from the high income earners, that helps us for income distribution. How do we distribute this income? We invest in government infrastructure, government expenditure that bring about relief to the ordinary people. Unjust tax can be considered as a tax that passes the tax burden on the masses unfairly. The just tax stems from the tax system itself, and an unjust tax could also stem from the way income are taxed for a category of the citizenry. Our tax system has come under so many reforms, and just as you are thinking, we have been thinking in the same direction. That is why the structure of our tax will lessen your burden in terms of how you go about executing this campaign to enhance it.
His Assistant Minister Andrew Golo there speaking. And now to this development. The Civil Service Agency has unveiled its latest human resource assessment report for 3 public entities in the Lofa County University, the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, and the Monrovia City Corporation. The report marks a significant step in CSA's ongoing efforts to strengthen personnel management and public sector transparency. Unveiling the report, CSA Director General Josiah F. Jokai pointed out that the effort is part of a bolder strategy to conduct comprehensive personal credential verification across ministries, agencies, and commissions. The initiative is also designed to ensure that individuals occupying public service portfolio are properly vetted and qualified, which in turn will improve operational integrity and public trust. Josiah disclosed that the project is not reliant on budgetary support, but it is funded through the CSA internal resource. Beyond these efforts, Josiah Jokai appealed for broader collaboration with public entities and private sectors, stakeholders to ensure the sustainability and assessment and verification program. He made known these convictions that the successful implementation of this initiative could set a national precedent in promoting good governance by holding institutions to higher standards and demanding transparency in employment practices. CSA aims to ensure that Liberia's public workforce is both competent and credible.
Today we are here. It's an honor to have all of you here today. We are presenting 3 reports today. The Monrovia City Corporation, the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, and the Lofa County University. We deploy our teams at the 3 entities. The goal was to conduct thorough personnel and credential verification exercises. Our teams spent weeks at those entities. They traveled to Lofa. They stayed at the university for about 3 weeks. They were seated at LDEA for at least 2.5 to 3 weeks. They were at the Monrovia City Corporation for about 3 weeks. And generally, I want to extend heartfelt thanks and appreciation to the 3 institutions. You've been very kind. You've been very nice to our teams. As we all know, this process is not supported budgetarily. There's no money in the national budget for this exercise. This is one of the deliberate and intentional interventions that the CSA is doing to bring decency, efficiency, and productivity to the public service, but it's not supported through the budgetary arrangement. How we do it, it is not a miracle also. It is in the context of the president's call to all of us to collaborate, to partner, to work together, to pool resources, to share resources, and to deliver services to meet the expectations of the Liberian people. That is exactly what the Civil Service Agency is doing through these processes. Notwithstanding, I would like to say that we need every support to support this initiative for us to cover all of the spending entities. We have 105 of them. And so anywhere we can get support from, we highly appreciate it from both the public and the private sector institutions. We'll be very grateful. It is often said that he who comes with equity must come with clean hands. What do I mean by that? After the ceremony here briefly, you will witness me and my 2 deputies. We will initiate the CSA personnel and credential verification exercise. So I will be the first. They're going to take me on. And after that, my 2 deputies will follow. And by next week, we will have downstairs, the entire team will be seated and will be working with the National Commission on Higher Education. Because we are CSA, we can exclusively do it on our own. And the only reason why our technical team will be involved because we have the ESRP system, the Employee Status Regularization Program system. That's our application. So we will be working with the National Commission on Higher Education to do the credential aspect. We are going to do that. I want you to know, so nobody should be asking questions anymore, but why is the CSA doing all this and they're not doing themselves? We're going to be doing ourselves as well. Today is a privilege again. We were here a few weeks ago when we presented the reports for NAFA. That's the National Fishery and Aquaculture Authority. They requested us to go and do the same thing at their place. We did it and we presented the report here openly to the public, to them in the glare of the public. We also did for the Monrovia Consolidated School System. We presented here publicly. At CSA, we don't have anything to hide. We have to be that mark of transparency and accountability. It's important because we have...
Josiah Jokai is CSA boss there speaking. If you just join us, as a reminder, you listening to K News, 45 minutes of trending news in Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one global village. We are also live at www.knewsonline.com and on our Facebook page at Cool. Let's bring you more developments here on this news presentation. The National Food Assistance Agency has lauded President Joseph Boakai for signing the National Food Assistance Act into law. The legislation officially approved on June 17, 2025 and subsequently published by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs establishes the NFA as a statutory agency, taken with spearheading the country's food assistance effort. The agency will be responsible for developing, implementing, and coordinating national food programs, strengthening emergency food response mechanism, and supporting vulnerable populations. Rejoicing over the passage of the law under the theme From Vision to Victory, celebrating our progress together, the event at NFA's headquarters in Singer over the weekend, staff members shared fond memories of political neglect that led to decades of institutional democracy. NFA Deputy Director General for Administration Bob Winwa Koti-Yeli termed the act of critical instrument that aims to lay a strong legal foundation, solidifying the agency's identity and positioning it for meaningful national impact. He expressed heartfelt warming gratitude to the NFA Board of Directors and the Director General Bwakai Salih for his visionary leadership, strategic oversight, and unwavering commitment in the process. NFA Deputy Director General expressed joy that NFA wish begin with a 2-room office and minimal staffing, and has now evolved into a fully functional institution.
When you look at the national ID card, when you list the national ID card or you scan with your machine, right, you will verify that the code, even your phone, you will notice that the code will not take you anywhere. I asked him, he said that the code will take you to the entity, his entity, National ID Card Agency, right? Yeah. So a database should not do that. The code should take you to the national database, where the national database platform puts it.
His signature on the NFAA enabling act, now printed into handbill, has laid a strong legal foundation, solidifying our identity and positioning us for meaningful national impact. I equally extend sincere thank you to the Board of Directors, held by Minister Dr. Mizana Nuta, for their guidance and encouragement that have been instrumental in steering our vision. Thank you deeply. A special and heartfelt appreciation goes to our own father, our mentor, our leader, the Director General of the NFAA. Your visionary leadership, strategic foresight, and unwavering commitment have guided this agency through its most challenging period. Honor your direction, what began as a modest 2-room office with minimal staffing and no operational budget has now evolved into a fully functional institution. Today we stand as a recognized agency with operational funding secured through the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, 4 brand new vehicles procured and delivered, critical logistics.
And now let's bring you this development here on this news presentation. Representative Small Mobile of Macerata County Electoral District 3 has launched a fiery critics against the National Identification Registry over what he termed as the lack of key features in the National Identification Card. Representative Mobile frowned at the NIR for its failure to institute a system that could identify barriers of the national ID card through an activated national database system. He highlighted that the lack of quick research code and personal identification number as key component of the national identification card readers the card substandard. According to Representative Mobile, the national ID card must recognize individuals through a holistic platform that is accessible by diverse institutions instead of solely linked individual identity to the registry system.
When you look at the national ID card, when you list the national ID card or you scan with your machine, right, you will verify that the code, even your phone, you will notice that the code will not take you anywhere. I asked him, he said that the code will take you to the entity, his entity, National ID Card Agency, right? Yeah. So a database should not do that. The code should take you to the national database, where the national database platform portal will ask you for entry. So they may ask for your 3 coding or 4 coding, or they may ask you for bar coding. When you place in that figure from your ID code or ID number into your entry point, it takes you that have control over yours. So no one can have your data information. So when I listened to him, right, he confused the process. It was a confused process. Then we look at another aspect of the ID card. On the ID card, when you look at the ID card, there's no security feature. I have seen ID card from Freetime where you have the embedded chip. I have seen ID card from Nigeria where you have the anti-photocopier simulator. I have seen ID card.
Representative Small Mobile is District 3 representative they're speaking. And now let's bring you our international development here to climate this state-run human rights body, the latest in the wave of anti-government rallies that began last year. Police opened fire on demonstrators and earlier on Dr. Aaron Saku, a medic at Equal Nursing in Kampini